All right, welcome everybody. My name is Will Liner. I'm the Urban and Community Forestry Partnership Coordinator here in Alabama. And today we're going to do a walkthrough of what it takes to become a Tree City USA by going through the online application. So the first thing is you come to the Arbor Day Foundation's website, which is www.arborday.org. Then go to the Our Work tab, and then navigate to Tree City USA. There it'll have a start your application link, and once you click that, it'll bring you where we are here, the login page. If this is your first time filling out a Tree City USA application online, you may need to go to the New Community tab. But in this case, I'm working off of one that's already been submitted before. So I'm just going to log in first. And once we get logged in, we can begin. As it's thinking, I just would like to take a moment to say the application deadline is annually at December 1st. It's really important that if you can get your application in prior to December 1st that you do, because nationwide there are about 3,400 Tree City USAs, and the Arbor Day Foundation has to review all of those. And here in Alabama we have 82, and so though you might only have one application, I'll end up looking through 82, and then our partners at the Arbor Day Foundation have to look through all 3,400, and the different states have different deadlines so that they can get all the materials shipped out at the proper time to coincide with our Arbor Week, which in Alabama is the last full week of February. So by getting your application in by December 1st, you come to the top of the list to get your stuff, your recognition materials prior to Arbor Week. If you miss that December 1st deadline, you may not get your recognition materials until a few months after Arbor Day, and most of our communities like to present those as part of their Arbor Day celebration. So just make sure that you get that application in on time. So now that we're looking at our application page, we're going to get started. The first thing that you see is general information, and under this tab is where you have your mayor. This is where you're going to have your portal login contact. For this one, it's going to be me. So just looking at this, you can see the community name. That doesn't change. Most of this will stay the same from year to year, and it actually saves it. So once you've done this one time, every year into the future until you change it, this information will remain the same. So here we're looking at Pine Hill, who has graciously allowed us to use theirs as an example. So we already have the mayor entered in there and all the information that must be there. That's the first and last name, the city name, the state, and the zip code. Email address isn't required, and neither is phone, but we really appreciate if you put that in there. That just allows us and the Arbor Day Foundation to get in touch with you in case there's something that happens with your application, if we need you to update something, or if a date isn't quite right. Just there are little things that can go wrong, and it just makes it easier if we have a way to contact you. So we'll keep going down. The city forestry contact, same thing. Make sure everything's filled in, or everything that's already in there is correct. And then we can go to the portal login, and in this case, that's me, Will Liner, the Urban and Community Forestry Partnership Coordinator. And this is just, the portal login is whoever's actually filling out the application. So once all that looks right, we'll click Save and Continue. And it may take a few seconds. On very busy days, it might take up to a full minute before it goes to the next screen. But the next thing up is your tree board, which you should have to be a Tree City USA. So you have this drop down, which best describes your community. Community has a tree board only, community has a department chair or a city manager, or both. And that's really unique to your own community. In this case, it's a tree board only. Then you'll look at your frequency. In this case, it's semi-annually, but it could be as often as weekly or as infrequently as once a year or annually. So we'll keep semi-annually. Then you go through your community chairperson for the tree board, and then the members. Again, make sure all this is correct, but this is also stored from year to year, so you won't have to fill this in every single time you submit an application. So this all looks correct, so we'll continue. So save and continue. Then the next thing is our tree ordinance. This also is something that will not change from year to year. The only time that you'll have to update this is if your ordinance is updated, or if you create a new one, or if you're a new community altogether, you'll put in your new ordinance. So in this case, February of 1987 was the month and the year the current tree ordinance was established. And this has been on file for a while. Pine Hill's been a tree city for a long time. So we just have to click the box that verifies that this is the ordinance is in effect still and that it's correct. So there we have it. Save and continue. And as that's uploading, you can see here at the top, you have the tabs of what all is required. So general info, and now that's a green check. Tree board is a green check, and ordinance is a green check, meaning that those are complete. Once you've finished these things, it'll turn green. If it's incomplete, it'll be yellow, and if it hasn't been started or is completely empty, it'll be red, like we see here. Before we did the ordinance, it was yellow because it had the date saved from a previous application, but we hadn't yet clicked the verified ordinance checkbox. So now that we've done that, it's turned green. So the next thing that we'll do is we'll do the budget. You have to have at least $2 per capita, and this is one that usually bothers people because it doesn't just have to be tree planting. There's a lot of things that go into it, as you can see here. Have the number of volunteer hours, you have maintenance, all sorts of things can go in there. If you are not sure you can make $2,000 or $2 per capita, please let us know and we'll find something. We can work with you to find those funds, because I've been doing this a few years now and we haven't had a single community that hasn't been able to reach that once we've brought everything in that can be counted. So if you have any questions about something counting or not, please feel free to reach out to the Urban Forestry Coordinator, Dale Dickens, or me. That's at the Forestry Commission, and my phone number is 334-240-9306. So we'll keep on trucking. In this case, our community population is 1,000. The planning and initial care reported is 1,500. Tree maintenance was reported at 1,000. Management, tree removals was 0. Management was 500. Emerald ash borer management, and that's another thing. Emerald ash borer is an invasive pest. It is only in 3 counties in Alabama currently, but it's been a big problem in the Northeast. So if your community, if you don't know what this is, don't put anything in it. If you have emerald ash borer, you know, and that's just a way to capture that cost separately. But most of our communities in Alabama aren't going to have anything for EAB. So just make sure that you leave that as 0 unless you know that you've had something for it. So in this case, it's 0, 0 reported for utility. And then we're leaving this blank, the volunteer hours, they didn't report any. But if you have some, please report it as much as you can. So once we have all that in there, they had no other expenditures either. So once all that's completed, you can hit the calculate, and it should tell you what you have. All right, so there we go. Our total expenditure of $3,000, which is $3 per capita. So we are over the $2. Also, if you know these numbers, please include it. In this case, we didn't have it. I also do have a work plan, so I'm going to attach that. So actually, I do not have that. So I'm going to leave that blank. That's not required, but if you have it, we would like you to use it. So save and continue. The next thing we need is the date that the observance was held. In this case, this is February 22nd of 2017, and this is only for the current year. So this is the 2017 Tree City USA application. So we're only looking at 2017. So a common problem we get is people using the proclamation from the previous year, like 2016 in this case, but it is only for this year. Sometimes that can be a little confusing, but just that'll come into play more with the proclamation, but we're just looking at this. So it's 02, 22, 2017. And then we're going to pick the proclamation, so I have it saved here as Pine Hill Proclamation 2017. And then you'll see that it pops up down here and you can view it. And so you see here it's 2017, February 19th through 25th, 2017. So that looks great. So we'll go back to the application, and we need to have something that shows that the celebration occurred. That can be a program, or it can be a picture, or it can be a newspaper article. In this case, I have both a photo and a program, so I'm going to attach the agenda, and it pops up down here. We can view it. You can see what that looks like. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just something that shows that the event took place. And then the photo, and we're going to upload it, and it pops up down here, and we'll look at it. So that's good, and it's attached. We don't have any news or press coverage, but if we did, that's where we put it. So all that looks great now, so we'll click Save and Continue. And now the last thing is the signature page. So since all this is filled in green, it releases this where we can print the signature form. So if you click that, it'll usually pop up, but it's having an issue. So we'll come back over here. But I've already done this, so we'll just browse and attach. So the signature page. Ooh. All right, so it kicked me out. No problem, we'll just log back in. And as it's thinking, the signature page, if you don't complete everything, oh, it looks like it didn't save any of my stuff. So we will keep going. Oh, it did save everything. So up here, I've already done all this. But you could click the print signature form, and that print the blank form, and you'll have the mayor sign it. But since I've already done this in this case, I'm just going to browse and attach. So and we'll view, and you can see here the mayor signed it and dated it. So that looks good. And now that I've had that, I want to talk about this real quick. So one problem that we've seen a lot of, because it's not exactly clear, is people will click this box and click submit. without attaching the signature page, but we can't approve the application until we have that signature form. So if you click this box, make sure that you do fax that in to us. But we prefer if you do it this way. If you're going to do that, I'd also prefer if you just called us and let us know to be looking for it, because sometimes it just gets lost in the chaos of getting all these applications in, and we just need to have a little extra help knowing that we need to look for it. But once we have all this in, we're good to go. So we'll hit, we can go back to submit our application. So click the return to the status page. Now that everything's been filled in and correct, you can see now back at the status page, everything is green and it says submit for approval. So now you can say submit Tree City app for approval. You click that, and after a few seconds, it'll pop up and say thank you, Pine Hill, but your community. Your application has been submitted and is pending approval. So that's how you know it's been sent in. And after that, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or Dale Dickens with the Alabama Forestry Commission. I hope that this has been informative, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to call us at 334-240-9360 or 334-240-9306. Thank you very much and have a great day.